I want you both to go to occupied France.
France?
How?
By sea or air, only you won't be going in uniform.
What do we do when we get there?
Organize resistance, act as liaison officers with London.
Would we be working together?
I hope so. Miss Williams would be your wireless operator. I don't need to say the job is difficult and dangerous. That must be obvious to you both. Are there any questions before you decide?
What made you pick on us?
It wasn't just haphazard. We make extensive inquiries before we recruit our people.
Do you think we're the right people for the job?
We're sure of it.
All right, I'm on. They had their own ideas about getting us fit. No smart drill movements, no parade ground stuff. They wanted us to look like ordinary, unhealthy civilians, and yet be able to take a commando battle course in our stride. They seemed to take a delight in making us climb up things and then jump down, or slide down.
We were taught all about firearms, British and foreign.
And how to use them in any emergency.
We went on a 30-mile walk across country, with only a map and compass to guide us.
This really was a school. I mean, we had lessons. The instructors were like smooth young university dons who'd taken a course under Pimpernel Smith or Raffles. They told us in the most gentlemanly manner how to organize our private lives as saboteurs, how to burgle a house, how to get out of handcuffs. They told us almost apologetically about lethal tablets, suicide pills, to be taken only as a last resort.
We made notes about organization and personal security.
Learned how to recognize all ranks of the German services.
Told how to use codes.
How the BBC sent personal messages during the French news.
The organization of the Gestapo.
Until our brains reeled under the load of information. At another school, we were taught how to organize reception committees. That's local people who'd collect in the field the night the RAF were coming to parachute supplies.
Here are your papers, Felix.
Good.
Identity card, ration card, demobilization.
Thank you.
Have you got your British card? Good. Microphotos of your targets.
Yes.
Some small monies will be useful.
Good.
And the money belt.
Thank you very much.
Here are your papers. Can I have your British identity card? Good. Here's some loose money. Now, you have your codes and WT plan, haven't you?
Yes, they were given to me in London.
Oh, good. Felix, here are your lethal tablets.
Thanks very much. How's it work?
Oh, I'll show you. In a cork.
Very neat. Thank you.
And Cat, your tablets are in the lipstick.
I see. Thank you.
Right.
Now the real work started. The real work of building up an organization. The French were marvelous. I used to borrow everything from them. It was impossible to buy a bike, and before I managed to get one on the black market, I had to live on borrowed bikes. I say live on, it almost became that. My plan was to organize 8 or 10 resistance groups within a radius of 25 miles of the town. I had to do everything by personal contact. It was amazing how one good contact, a farmer, a wine merchant, priest, led invariably to another. Broadly speaking, there were 3 kinds of contacts, and I tried to keep them separate. In the first group were the active ones, those I could rely on to do a job of work, sabotage or taking part in a reception committee. Then there were safe houses, usually older people who could be relied on for hospitality, and where I could go at any time of day or night and get a bed or a meal, no questions asked. Then thirdly, there were the letterboxes. That is, people like cafe proprietors or garage owners, where I could leave messages or meet people by appointment without attracting attention. Of course, we couldn't use telephones, they'd be tapped. Even internal letters were censored. I had to keep a good lookout for controls on the roads and avoid them where possible. For my next operation, I used another field with a new reception committee. I tried the Eureka this time, and it worked very well. The aircraft, fitted with special apparatus, picked up our radar waves 10 minutes before we heard the engines. The navigator had to watch a green line that moved horizontally across a dial. This line showed him at once when he wandered off course. All he had to do was to keep it in the middle. It was a grand feeling seeing the stores dropping to us. It meant we could soon begin our sabotage activity. It wasn't only explosives we needed, it was just as important to have arms for protection. We knew the Germans had wireless direction finding stations in France. Once they realized an operator was working within a certain area, they sent out small listening vans. Finally, they were able to place a transmitter to within a few hundred yards. Then they'd watch until they were sure of the actual room. This meant the operator had to be continually on the move. Cat hadn't been working in the same room for very long, so perhaps we were a little too confident.
Herr Bauer?
Senden Sie mir sofort 2 Männer zu dem Haus im Place Carnot. Sie übermitteln sofort.
Sofort, Herr Bauer.
Danke.
Vos papiers, madame.
Comment?
Vos papiers, madame.
Oui, certainement. Luckily, I'd made an arrangement with the girl who lived in the house opposite to keep a sharp lookout when my curtains were drawn. That meant I was transmitting or receiving. So when I'd heard a loud thumping on her piano, the danger signal, I was all prepared to receive those unwelcome visitors.